right, it is the top of the hour, so welcome everyone. If you have not done so already, I please ask that you enter your name and organization into the chat. Additionally, please be prepared to use the chat function in today's session to ask any questions that you have throughout the presentation. And with that, my name is Chloe Hurd, and I am a program specialist presenting on today's Nursing Home Quality Essentials call. And today's session will really focus in on staff burnout. Before we get started, I do ask that you go ahead and scan that QR code. So pull out your phone, scan the QR code, or go to www.menti.com and enter in the code that you see on the slide. And once you are in, everyone, please make sure that you hit that little thumbs up button that you'll see on the screen on your phone. That way I know you've been able to join. And so please note today's presentation is interactive. And so that is why I do ask that you please join the Mentimeter. All right, so we'll give everyone just a little bit more time to join. And if you're unable to join now, that's okay, because there will be an opportunity to join again later in the presentation. So that said, we will go ahead and move along here. But before we begin, I do want to note that you do ask actually to please add QIConnect@Telegen.com to your trusted list of email contacts. Additionally, you can find us on both Facebook and LinkedIn. I also ask that you guys go ahead and scan that QR code so that way you can join the Nursing Home Connect listserv. Now, this listserv really allows you to access and get notifications from Telegen, CMS, and the CDC. It also allows you to receive information about upcoming events and trainings. And lastly, and most importantly, it also allows you to engage in peer-to-peer sharing with other nursing home teams. We also do have our Telegen Nursing Home Assessment Dashboard. This is available on our portal as well as via a link. But essentially what it does is it provides you access to all of our nursing home assessments that we have out there available to you. All of that said, all right, we are finally to our topic and we can dive in. Our title of today's session is Combating Staff Burnout, Strategies for Enhancing Well-Being in Nursing Homes. And our objectives for today are twofold. First off, we're going to define and recognize the stages of burnout. But then secondly, we are going to explore data sources related to staff burnout, as well as interventions that you can use for yourself, but also interventions that you can use for the staff within your facility. All right, so I first off want to take the time to really define what burnout is. So burnout is an occupation-related syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. And it really does include three dimensions, which include feelings of energy depletion or emotional exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's work, and negative or cynical feelings towards one's work. And lastly, that reduced sense of efficacy at work. Next, I want to talk about some of the contributing factors of burnout. The first one that I want to talk about is workload. So this is typically where we see, especially in healthcare, where people have too much work for their workload and not enough resources or support. And when we don't have that support and have these massive workloads, it's going to help contribute to potential feelings of burnout, right? Then we have this idea of lack of confidence. So this is really where we see folks who don't feel that they have the training or the knowledge to necessarily do the job at hand, okay? And then we also have moral distress. And this is where we're going to have those ethical conflicts. Okay, so those ethical conflicts that we might see at work might be things like we see a resident's autonomy potentially being ignored. Maybe we notice that there's a fairness issue happening So we see maybe some discrimination and some favoritism at work within our facilities as well. So that's an example of what could include moral distress. But then we also have working conditions. And so this is when your working conditions are essentially inadequate. And there are environmental factors that play into that, such as not having enough staff to support the needs of residents, or it could just be not having enough resources and support to do the job at hand, okay? And so moving on, I now really want to talk about the stages of burnout and what this kind of looks like over time. So the first stage I want to talk about is the honeymoon phase. Now, this is the phase everybody loves, right? We want to live here and never move, because this is where we have that unbridled enthusiasm and commitment to the job at hand. Generally, we see this when people start a new job. So there's that strong compulsion to prove yourself. We see high productivity levels during this stage. People have sustained energy levels and they're readily accepting of responsibility. Okay. However, unfortunately, the stage doesn't always last forever. And so then we start to kind of see the onset of stress. And this is where folks might have feelings of anxiety kind of creeping in. We see an avoidance in decision-making, feelings of fatigue, and an inability to focus. Additionally, during the stage, we actually see a change in people's diet and appetite as well. We also, interestingly enough, see a lack of sleep or reduced sleep quality. And then just overall, there's just kind of a sense of job dissatisfaction during the onset of stress stage. Okay. And then we move on to the idea of chronic stress. And this is where people might start to have angry or a little aggressive behavior. We also typically see kind of feelings of apathy during this stage and denial of problems as well. People also might feel threatened or panicked, and it just might really feel like things are out of control during this stage of burnout. Additionally, we also typically in the chronic stress stage also see an increase in alcohol, drug, and caffeine consumption. All right. And then we move on to the burnout phase. And this is where we actually start to see some of the physical effects that burnout has on the body. And so people will start to feel or have chronic headaches. Typically, we see GI problems as well as musculoskeletal pain. And this starts to show up typically within that burnout stage. During that burnout phase as well, we typically see just kind of a complete neglect of one's personal needs. And in general, people have just a desire to want to drop out of society and move away from their work, their friends, and their family. And in general, we might also see some obsessing over work problems or even problems outside of work. And in general, there's just a pessimistic outlook on life during this burnout stage. But then we move to the habitual burnout stage. And this is where we have depression, chronic sadness, chronic mental fatigue, and chronic physical fatigue. Now, that said, since we now have an understanding really of what burnout is, what contributes to it, and what the stages are, I kind of want to think about this from a quality improvement lens and start to think about the data sources that we may have at our fingertips to utilize around staff burnout in our facilities. So everybody pull out your phone. And if you need to rejoin the Menti, please note that you can go to menti.com and enter in the code up here and just answer the question. What data sources do you utilize? And if you don't utilize them, maybe it's just you have available, okay? What data sources do you have available regarding staff burnout? So you have exit interviews, culture surveys, okay. One other. All right, perfect. Now, we're not going to talk about these in a lot of detail, but really what I wanted to get at with this slide is that this is something that we need to start thinking about. Because if we want to see improved staff retention rates and really tackle the issue of burnout that we're seeing across the board in healthcare, we need to view it from a QI perspective. And we need to review the data that we have available. And so I unfortunately don't have time today to talk about exit interviews and culture surveys and some of the other data sources that we might have available. But I will talk about one data collection tool that you guys can put in place if you haven't already. And that's really this idea of a stay interview. So stay interviews are structured discussions a leader conducts with an individual employee to learn specific actions the leader can take to strengthen the employee's engagement and retention with the organization. So a stay interview is exactly as it sounds. It's an interview you're having with a current employee who, as far as you know at least, is not leaving. And it's really just to identify, okay, why do you work here? What do you enjoy about working here? But what could we also improve about this? Okay. And so stay interviews really help employees and you yourself as a leader understand some different things about the facility in general. But when you go into these conversations, I want you to think about some things and to keep some things in mind. So the first thing that I ask you do if you choose to ever have a stay interview is bring an open mind. We need to really focus in on the why not versus that could never be done here kind of attitude. Okay, because if you do that, it does lead to greater success in improving that employee engagement and retention. The other thing we need to do is use a collectivism and cultural approach that really emphasize the team accomplishments in the we. So it's using terms like we and us over I, they, or them. Okay, and really having that kind of team approach with these conversations. The other thing we need to keep in mind when we conduct a stay interview is to really expect reasonable change and to keep in mind that the workplace and schedule flexibility are the number one reasons why people leave. And so offer flexibility when and where you can. And then lastly, we need to also expect to have additional conversations about overall facility policies as well. Okay. And so once we have an idea of the data that we have available, so maybe you're using your stay interview data that you do, or exit interviews, or those surveys. But once we do that, we need to kind of think about the why behind things. And so Christina Maslock is actually one of the leading experts on workplace burnout. And she says in this quote, we need to reframe the basic question from who is burning out to why they are burning out. It is not enough to simply focus on the worker who is having a problem. There must be a recognition of the surrounding job conditions that are the sources of the problem. Okay. And so that really takes me to root cause analysis because we need to focus in on the why behind things. I'm not going to talk about root cause analysis in much detail today because I know all of you on the call, you know what root cause analysis is. However, if you need a refresher or some pointers, please note that we do have some trainings that are offered on a regular basis, and we also have a root cause analysis on demand training as well. But the bottom line is once you've reviewed your data, I ask that you maybe complete a root cause analysis on your staff retention or why they might be feeling burned out. Okay. Additionally, you can do a root cause analysis for yourself. If you are feeling burned out or just exhausted with life, complete one for yourself and just see what you find. Okay. All right. But moving on, I want to talk about what you can do to reduce feelings of burnout for your staff. And I wish we had more time than 30 minutes, everyone, to talk about this, but we don't. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of the resources here are the tactics that you can use to reduce these feelings of burnout for your staff. But the other three you will be able to obviously review after the presentation. And if you have further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. But the first thing I want to talk about is workloads. Okay. So managing workload. So if we think back to the contributing factors of burnout, and what we typically see, workload was the number one contributing factor. And so it's no surprise that this is what we need to do to kind of help tackle that and put an intervention in place there. So when it comes to managing workloads, my number one recommendation is if you are short-staffed in your facility, get agency staff in. It may not necessarily be ideal for you, but anything that can help support the staff that are internal to your facility, do it. At the end of the day, it might just help them stay there, okay? The other thing is professional development. So when we think back to those contributing factors of burnout that we have, lack of competency was one of the top contributors. And so offering those professional development opportunities to your staff and the trainings that they might need to help them feel competent in their role. Those are two huge things that you can do. And my number one recommendation when it comes to professional development is to potentially even just review what your orientation kind of looks like for new staff. Okay, what policies and procedures are you reviewing? What do your processes look like around that? And what does orientation look like for an internal staff member versus agency? Okay, because if we can get both, newer staff to your facility as well as even agency staff to just feel a little more comfortable in their roles, hopefully you'll see improved resident outcomes, improved retention rates, and you might even be able to recruit some folks then from the agency itself. Okay, so those are just two different tactics you can use. But now I want to talk about what you can do for yourself. Okay, now the first thing is PTO. We have to use our PTO in a given year. We need to use all of it. And when we use it, we need to make sure that we are not checking email. We are not answering phone calls. We are completely separating ourselves from work. Okay, because believe it or not, PTO, there's a lot of evidence behind it to help prove that it actually does help to recover from the workplace stressors. Okay, however, PTO is not enough alone to kind of combat those feelings of burnout. They say on average within 4.6 days of actually returning to work from a vacation, the effects of that vacation start to wear off. So we need to do more than just take PTO. It's not enough. So the next thing I want to talk about are activities outside of work. Okay. And so these would be activities that you enjoy outside of work. And there's two different kinds I want to talk about. We have active versus leisure ones, and they're exactly as they sound. Active activities are going to be things like going for a walk, okay? Or maybe it's gardening, things like that. Whereas leisure activities will be things like sitting on the patio, maybe reading a book, watching TV, those types of things. And the interesting thing that research has shown us is we need both in equal amounts to actually actively or fully recover from the stressors of work. So for me personally, I tend to lean more towards wanting to do those leisure activities. I love to read and I could do it all day, every day. However, I know it's not enough, so I actually bike ride now to get some of that kind of active time in as well. Okay. And I do want to note, everyone, with activities outside of work, there are times where you need a lazy day. You need a day where you just sit on the couch, you watch TV, or maybe you read a book, take a bath, but you don't really, clean house or run errands. You just have that day to relax. While we shouldn't do it often, we still need them. So please, 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 if you need to have one of those days, do it and do not feel guilty, because we all need it at times. The other thing I want to talk about is this idea of toot your own horn. So this is essentially just sharing the wonderful work you're doing with your leaders within your facility or outside of your facility as well, because all of you are doing great work. However, if you don't share it out with anybody, nobody will know about it. And if nobody knows about it, chances are you won't necessarily be recognized for it. And then it starts to kind of feel like a thankless job. I'm from the Midwest. The idea of toot your own horn, that seems like self-promotion. That's hard for me. However, it's something that I'm working on. And so I ask that all of you consider doing this as well, so that way you do get the recognition for the great work that you're doing. Now I want to talk about self-care. This is a big one, and I could probably talk about this one for several hours, but we do not have several hours. But self-care is going to be things like making sure that you get a good amount of sleep, right? Having good eating habits, having good exercise habits, those types of things. And while they seem wishy-washy, there's a ton of evidence behind the fact that they do help you to recover from that workplace stress, okay? However, it's also the easiest thing to ignore. We all have lives outside of work. We have kids, we have parents we need to take care of, we have pets, we have errands to run, doctor appointments to get to, all of these things. And sometimes it's just easier to not go to the gym because there's a million other things happening. And I get it. It's hard because I'm with all of you and I don't have time to do that 30-step skincare routine that's now, super popular. I just don't. And so what I ask all of you, just because this is such a hard one to do, just consider picking one thing to do over like a 2-week time frame. And it's just something small. So something as small as going to bed 10 minutes earlier. Okay. And just do that. It's 10 minutes more of sleep that you might get every night. And then just reflect on how it makes you feel afterwards. Because that one small step could potentially be an even bigger step towards helping you to recover from the stressors of work. And then lastly, we have this idea of boundaries. So boundaries are, there's two types of boundaries I want to talk about. First off, we have hard boundaries versus soft boundaries, okay? So hard boundaries are going to be those non-negotiable ones that we put in place versus the soft ones that are open to compromise, okay? So an example of like a hard boundary that I have in place right now is if I'm on PTO, I will not work. So I'm not going to answer phone calls, emails, messages. I'm not. I need that time away from work. I need to separate myself from it. That's a hard boundary I have. Where a soft boundary that I have is, I only work within my required work hours or my scheduled work hours, right? However, I do recognize that there are times throughout the year where we have heavier workloads because of our contractual obligations. And so that said, when those times roll around, I am more than happy to work and go above and beyond, just because I already have this boundary in place and I'm not doing it on a regular basis. Okay. So that said, we have a case study. All right, so Jane, a dedicated nurse, has worked with Telegin Meadows Senior Living for 1.5 years. When she first started her job, she was very optimistic about her new career path in the nursing home setting. However, for the past 8 months, she has been unhappy in her job. She frequently agrees to work extra shifts to fill in when the nursing home is short-staffed, working 70 hours per week on average. This has led Jane to no longer being able to support her family at home, and she rarely gets a moment to support herself. Outside of work, Jane is unable to enjoy any activities of her own as she is busy caring for her 2 kids. Jane also feels a lack of support from her team and management as they are almost always short-staffed and feels that many of her colleagues lack the training to do their job, increasing the pressure on Jane. This relentless cycle has led to chronic fatigue, anxiety, GI issues, and a growing sense of detachment from her work. After sharing candid feedback in the facility culture surveys and multiple failed attempts to seek support within her workplace, Jane made the difficult decision to resign from her position. All right. So that said, what are the contributing factors to burnout in this case study? And please feel free to come off of mute, use the chat. What do you think? What are the contributing factors of burnout? If you need a reminder, the contributing factors that we talked about were workload, lack of competence, moral distress, and then lastly, working conditions. So do we see any signs of any of those in this case study?
Hey, Chloe, there's nothing in chat, but we're at about 5 more minutes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, Aubrey just said all of the above.
All of the above. Yeah, Aubrey, you're right. She's working 70 hours a week. So obviously, yeah, her workload's a little higher than it should be. We do see in here that she feels that the staff that are there don't feel like, that they have the wherewithal to essentially be able to do their job adequately. So yeah, we are seeing multiples of these in here. But I want to ask as well, what could Jane have done to decrease burnout for herself? Katie, I see your message. Aubrey, yep, PTO. You got it. She could have definitely used some paid time off. I'm wondering about boundaries as well. Because if she's working 70 hours per week, could she have done something to potentially, work a little less? I'm wondering if she maybe could have put a boundary in place to support herself there. Yeah, absolutely, Aubrey. Absolutely. Well, we don't have a ton of time to talk about this in a lot more detail, just because we only have 3 minutes left. But I do ask that you all just kind of continue to think about this and what could Aubrey have done for herself in this situation? But also, is there something the facility could have done? And did they know about it? So kind of think about that. And Katie, I just see your message in chat. Jane needed to speak up. If no support, then ascend the corporate ladder for assistance. Set firm boundaries. Let the supervisor know she will limit herself. Yeah, absolutely, Katie. Absolutely. All right. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a ton of time to talk about this. However, this is pertinent to today's topic. So this is an updated QSO memo that was released on June 18th, related to that facility assessment requirement around staffing. So unfortunately, I can't talk about a lot about this in a ton of detail today. However, Ro did just put the QSO memo in the chat, and I ask that all of you kind of review this and get a better feel for what this requirement is for you and what it means for you. All right. So please take the time to do so. That said, here are my resources and references for all of you in case you need some additional resources on this topic. And before we adjourn for today, what questions do you have for me? All right, and thank you, Heather, for the reminder. So today's slides and the recording will be sent out on Friday. All right, that said, you can contact us at QIconnect.com or go to nursinghome@telegen.com as well. We do also have some upcoming nursing home quality essential sessions coming up, with the next one being this Thursday. This Thursday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time or noon Central Time, and this is going to be focusing on quality measures to QAPI, making the connection. All right, and with that, thank you all so much for joining today. Please reach out if you have any questions.